Have you ever felt like, listen, I am trying to be productive in this season, but you also want to feel good at the same time? Like, why do we have to choose between productivity and getting things done and being happy and feeling good? Well, guess what? You do not have to choose any longer. I'm going to share with you what I learned from Feel Good Productivity, a new book out by Ali Abdaal. If you don't know Ali Abdaal, he's a very accomplished YouTuber. He's the #1 productivity expert on YouTube with over 5 point something or 6 million followers to this date. And I've been following him for some time. Just a little bit of background. He is a medical doctor who studied at Cambridge, and he started his YouTube channel 6 years ago, teaching people about how to get into Cambridge, because I believe it's one of the hardest medical schools to get into in the world, how to study for your boards and, be accomplished and be successful, etc., and documenting his career as a doctor. Then he fell into sort of productivity and helping people be more accomplished, be more successful. His YouTube channel grew wildly. 6 years later, he writes a best-selling book called Feel Good Productivity. So that's the context. And as someone who's been following him for a little bit, I have learned a ton of stuff about productivity because that's kind of my jam. As you can see, I just love to find ways to be better, right? To maximize our time, maximize our efficiency. And that has helped me in my life. That has helped me in my business. And just, generally, right? I'm all about the balance. And so Feel Good Productivity was right up my alley. I'm like, yes, definitely. Let's feel good and be productive. And so because I follow him, some of the things that I learned have been sort of already like I knew, intuitively, I guess not intuitively, but I knew from following and watching along. But I did learn a lot of new things in this book that I think will help me, get even more efficient and productive, but also find that balance to be happy while you're doing it, because that seems to be the way for wild success, right? Everyone who's ever spoken about success and has been happy at the same time has said you have to find a way to marry both. You have to find a way to enjoy what you're doing. So one of the major mind-blowing things that I learned in the book is that there's actually 3 different ways or 3 different sort of schools of thought when it comes to productivity. One is the motivation piece, right? If you're on YouTube, I know you've probably come across videos about, motivational videos where you watch these videos and they motivate you. They tell you, get out of bed, make yourself feel good, whatever the case is. They're kind of like, just giving you inspiration. And so that's a motivation method. That's one way of being productive. But for many people, motivation is not enough, right? Some people just have motivation and they just, that part is not the issue. And some people it's like, okay, now I'm motivated. I feel good for 30 minutes or I feel good for the morning, but then life is lifing again, right? And I don't know how to sort of keep myself going. Then there is the discipline school of thought that says just do it, right? That's like the Nike way. That's, just do it. Even if you don't feel like it, do it anyway. And that's kind of what I've been talking about recently, is just like doing it anyway, because I went from the motivation phase where I just like needed to be pushed to the, okay, I'm motivated. I want to succeed. I want to accomplish all the things. And now I got to just do it, right? Who cares what I feel like? Overcome these emotions, right? Don't ask your feelings for permission. Just do it anyway, right? That is the discipline school of thought. And then what I learned in this book is the unblock school of thought, right? There's something that is blocking you from actually being productive, from actually getting your goals done. And the method of getting past that is to figure out what it is and to unblock that thing, and then be able to continue to along your way and accomplish your goals. So the example that he gives in the book is somebody's running or needs to get somewhere quickly. They have a pebble in their shoe and they're going to go through these different phases. So the motivation is, oh, I don't feel like going it. I'm giving myself all these excuses as to why I can't go. and there's something in my shoe that hurts, so I'm just kind of not going to do it. But you might push forward and do it anyway, right? So then you get to discipline where you're like, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to run it. I'm going to do it no matter what. But you got this pebble in your shoe, which is probably going to like hurt you or cut you or whatever the case is. And by the time you get there, you're all messed up anyway. Or the unblock method where you're like, wait, what is the problem? Why am I not feeling like doing what I have to do? Why am I not feeling like going to this destination that I need to get to? You're like, let me find out the source. The source is there's a pebble in my shoe and it's uncomfortable and it's hurting me. So let me remove that, get that out the way, and then I could go about my day and accomplish what I need to accomplish. So that's the unblock method. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That is definitely something that I want to tap into. And so he goes through like various different lessons and studies and examples. It's definitely worth reading for yourself. But there was a part that I thought that really resonated with me, and that is the uncertainty fog, right? He talks about this uncertainty fog and why we don't tend to accomplish certain things that we want to accomplish because we're kind of unclear on what's next, right? We kind of have like a blurry kind of vision. We don't really know what it is that's happening or what's stopping us or what's the next step. We haven't really even outlined it. So we have this uncertainty fog. And so with the uncertainty fog, it brings ambiguity. So it's just like we're not clear. And when you're not clear about something, then you procrastinate on it because you don't really know like what the next step is. So ambiguity leads to procrastination and negative feelings about just like the unknown. Like we don't kind of know what's next, and we're kind of going through some phases where we're deciding that we're going to avoid it altogether, right? We have uncertainty and we're looking to just avoid it. It's being overwhelmed by the unknowns. And because you're overwhelmed by the unknowns, you do nothing. You basically achieve less. And you know, one time I was in a CLE, a continuing legal education. So you have to do it as a lawyer every year to make sure that you're up on the laws and, you know, what have you that's going on, right? And I was in a CLE and she was actually talking about something along the lines of procrastination and things of that nature. And I said, I raised my hand and she asked a question. I raised my hand and I said, well, you feel like you're so overwhelmed by all the things that you have to do that you just do nothing. And do you know, this lady was like, no, that's just laziness. In front of a whole class of people. I was so embarrassed, and it really made me feel like, wow, maybe I am lazy. Maybe nobody relates to this. Nobody resonates with this, and I'm just lazy, right? Well, she was wrong because it is a thing, okay? You're also overwhelmed that you decide to avoid everything and you do nothing instead. And that is because you have uncertainty about how to accomplish each step. And there's actually ways that we can kind of work through this. Not only are there ways to work through it, it's almost like a process that you're going through. So first you're feeling anxious because you don't know what's next. You don't know what's next to come. And then you become what he calls, what Ali calls hypervigilant, where you feel like the outcome is going to be bad. Even though you haven't even mapped it out, and even though you don't know the next steps, and even though you're uncertain, you just feel like it's going to be bad. So because it's going to be bad, you're trying to find safety, right? You're protecting yourself. And I tend to do that with overthinking, right? So he talks about he talks about like statistics, but I tend to do it with I'm overthinking every step and everything into the future that may not even happen, that I am trying to protect myself for these potential tenuous things that might come out in the future. And because you're going through this what he calls hypervigilant, this looking for safety, you're not recognizing the simple steps that you could do to sort of solve the problem. Like, one, do some research to find out what are the next steps. Like, try to figure out the answers that you need to maybe tap into your network, tap into your resources. There are steps that you can take to find out what to do, but because you're so focused on the anxiety of it all, you're not focused on the solution. So there's a couple of solutions that Ali gave in his book, Feel Good Productivity, on how to overcome this uncertainty fog and get yourself past this avoidant procrastination phase and actually unblock what's keeping you back from what you need to do. So one example is the 10-10-10 rule, where you're like, this thing that I am anxious about, that I'm scared to do, is it going to matter, whatever that negative particular outcome is it going to matter in 10 minutes? If so, then you probably want to figure out how to resolve it. Is it going to matter to me in 10 days, right? Is it going to matter to me in 10 years? So if what you're fearing is going to be so impactful to you that it's going to even matter to you in 10 years, you really want to find a way to resolve it. If it's going to matter to you, if it's not going to matter to you in 10 minutes, in 10 years, in 10 days, then maybe it's something that we don't need to do at all. And that's how we can sort of figure out, by prioritizing, what are the things that we actually need to tackle? Are they going to get us better? The next thing is asking yourself why. The 5 whys, right? And he gives an example of Toyota. I forget the gentleman's first name, but his last name because he's the owner of the car company, but actually is way more than that in his home country, where he has impacted in various areas. So one of his methods was to ask why multiple times, like multiple layers of why. So why are we doing this? And so I'm doing this because I want to live a better life. Why do you want to live a better life? Because I want to make sure that my family has XYZ opportunities. Why do you need your family to have XYZ opportunities? Because it's important to me to make an impact in my community, in the world, or what have you. Why is it important to you to make, so keep asking yourself why, so you can actually get to the root of the actual intent. And if you get to the root of the actual intent and it's actually not that important, you could just scratch it altogether, right? But if you do find that it's actually important, then you actually know why you're doing the things that you're doing and help yourself to continue on the path to getting it done. The second thing you can do to clear up your uncertainty and get you unblocked after you've figured out your why and gotten down to the root of it and whether it's important or not, then you are going to make sure that your goals are nice. So you may have heard of SMART goals. SMART goals are to make sure that your goals are in a format that you can actually identify, essentially, right? So you want to make sure it's specific, that you can measure it with time, that you can actually achieve it, that it's, I think it's relevant, realistic, I think it is, right? And then time bound, like when am I going to do it? So now SMART goals are usually used for like bigger time frames, like a year, 2 years, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, or whatever the case is. And I've done that in my business as well. We had our SMART goals and we've, mapped it out on what we're going to do when, or whatever the case is. Nice goals, which Ali, I guess, outlines for us, is a smaller time frame, right? You want to take those bigger goals and bring them into smaller chunks so that they're more manageable and you can actually get them done sooner, right? And so the N stands for near term, so it's a daily or weekly thing that you can accomplish to get you closer to your bigger goal. The I stands for input, so it's the process is focused on here and now. The C stands for controllable. So the time frame needs to be small enough so that it's not overwhelming, but big enough to make some sort of an impact. So instead of saying, I am going to get this done in 8 hours, which the more time that you give, the more time that you're going to use or fill up, right? So if you say, all right, I'm giving 20 minutes, I can control 20 minutes. I have 20 minutes in my week to actually get something done. So the C is controllable. You want to make sure you have enough time to get it done. And the cool part is he did talk about time blocking, which I mentioned in one of my other videos, actually putting things on your calendar so that you know that you can actually get them done because it's in there. So the time actually exists. It's not just in your head. Not only doing your work goals, but your personal goals, like your workout and you're spending time with family and your personal hobbies, all those things should be time blocked. But in any event, that's controllable. You want to make sure that you have the amount of time necessary to do the work or to do the thing. And E is energizing. I liked that because you want to be mindful of how much energy you have to give to things. If you are saying yes to a whole bunch of things, then you're definitely saying no to many things as well. So you want to be asking yourself, how much energy is this going to take from me? Am I going to be able to still accomplish the things that I want to accomplish if I say yes to these things? And that has really helped me to really set my boundaries around saying yes to certain things, because I'm like, I know if I say yes to certain things, I have to say no to other things. And I want to make sure that I'm saying yes to the things that I want, right? And the things that are important and impactful to me. So is this thing energizing? How much energy do I have to give to it? One of the things that I like that he highlighted is making a distinction between your dreams list and your ambitions and your active investments, right? When it comes to like your time and your energy. So your dreams list is the bigger things that you want to do. So like some examples are learn a different language, learn to, ride a bike or something like that, take up some sort of a sport, create a travel trip with your friends. Like these are some of the things that are your bigger goals. Your active investments should be 3 to 5 of those things from your goals, from your dreams and ambitions list. It could be as many as you want on your dreams and ambitions list, but you're going to take 3 to 5 of those at a time, and you're going to put them on your active investments list. This is what I'm actively investing my time in now so that I can accomplish it. So some of the things are build muscle, learn to cook, learn to play a game, chess or whatever, organize a trip. So those might be the things that you're working on right now, but you have all these other things on your goals and ambitions list, like your bucket list, that you want to sort of get to one day. We can't work on all of them at the same time. So if you are making sure that the things that are important to you, the things that you want to accomplish, not only professionally, but also personally, that you are budgeting the energy necessary to get them done, then you will actually start to move towards those things. But you're breaking it down into more bite-sized goals or action steps. So then lastly, after you figured out what it is that you wanted to do, why you're doing it, then we're going to talk about when you're going to do it. So that's when actually the time blocking came in, where you kind of budget your time for every area of your life, socially, personally, self-care, professionally. All of those things go on your time blocking calendar, so you make sure that you actually have time for it. And like I said in the past, if you time block and you actually don't get to something during that allotted time, you can always move it, but at least you had, because things do come up like phone calls and unexpected things in life, but at least you have the time budgeted for it, so you will get back to it. Just don't forget to move it. That's something that you could do to overlook things. So definitely move it if you don't get to it. After you time block, limit yourself from overcommitting. One of the things that Ali brought up is, and I forget who says this, I heard it before through Tim Ferriss, one of his interviews. Basically, if you are considering making a commitment to something, ask yourself, would I still want to do this if it was tomorrow, right? Because we tend to say yes to things that are like 2 months in advance or a couple of weeks in advance because you feel like you'll feel like it by then, or even though you're busy now, you'll have more time in the future. That's just like, it tends to be a figment of our imagination. If you wouldn't mind doing it if it was tomorrow, then yeah, you can say yes to it and block the time for it. But if the answer is no, then just don't say no to it, right? So limit overcommitting to things that you cannot possibly get to, or maybe you don't even desire to get to. And then I know I said finally, but this is part of the when part, and it talks about limiting distractions and also giving time for the proper distractions. I thought this was really interesting because sometimes we think we're taking breaks and we don't realize, okay, I'm working on something, I'm working towards something, or maybe it's just my everyday work, right? My job. And I think I'm taking a break, but I don't feel refreshed, right? I don't feel renewed. Even though I literally stopped what I was doing, I still feel like I was going. And I have that in my own personal life. Even like setting on my calendar a lunch break for myself, I would never feel like I took a break, even if I did actually get to take my lunch break. And so the idea is that you want to take breaks more often, shorter breaks, and you want to do things that are energizing to you during those short breaks. So say you are overwhelmed and you are feeling drained of energy. What are some of the things that you might do? You might scroll on Instagram, you might scroll on TikTok, you might scroll on Twitter, or whatever it is. You might do those type of things when you're feeling drained of energy and you just can't any longer, right? Whereas when you are re-energizing yourself, you might do things like go for a walk, like play a game that you like, read a book that you like, certain things, work out at the gym or whatever that you could do during that period of time that you have. Those type of things are more so energizing. So instead of falling back on the things that you do when you're drained, focus on using your breaks towards the things that you do when you are that things that you do that energize you, right? I thought that was a great distinction because that was really helpful in painting the picture or making it clear, like we're not always using the best use of our time, and doing something that you normally do when you're drained, which is not necessarily helpful for you to restore you, is only going to make you feel like you never refreshed, you never, re-energized. So focus on doing those things that energize you. I won't keep saying it. So I hope this was helpful to you. I mean, it was really helpful to me. I highly recommend picking up the book Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. It does bring a new light to all these different tools that we can use to sort of help us accomplish our goals. And it was helpful for me. I hope it will be helpful for you. Let me know, put a comment, leave me a comment and let me know if you read the book, what you thought about it, or if you're planning on picking it up as a result of this. I appreciate you for listening. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to see you next time.